noon in the East Coast, 9 o'clock in the West Coast. Where do you begin to sell your art? I get that question so many times, I thought we would address it today. How do you begin? Where do you begin? We'll talk about that in just a minute, but first we're going to wait for some folks to come on board, so bear with me for just a second. We're waiting for a few more folks to come on board, so bear with me a second. We're going to talk about how do I begin to sell my art? What's the process of beginning? Where do I begin? All right, so we're going to talk about where to begin to sell your art in just a second. Hang with me. I appreciate your patience. Just another few seconds. All right, here we go. Hi, guys. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air magazines. Today is day number what? 123, I'm guessing. Let's see what I have here. 123. I had that prepared, but I didn't have it up. So thank you for joining me today. We are live, and it's fun to be in the studio live with you guys. I'm actually in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York in an old cabin, and managed to get an internet connection up here, surprisingly. So we are live here in the Adirondacks. I'm doing this every day. Today is day number 123, which means 123 days in a row, over 4 months now. I have been doing this for you. The idea is to give you something to think about, get your head out of COVID, and take good advantage of the time if you have the time, if you're in quarantine. Of course, many are now out of quarantine or partially in quarantine, spending some time outdoors because we can. And I know that's important to me. So I appreciate you guys watching, because I know a lot of you are in a position where you can go outdoors and should be, maybe painting, huh? All right, so let's talk about what we got today. First off, we have some winners. The winners are 2 books, Make More Money Selling Your Art. My book, should always have it handy so I can show it to you. This was the #1 bestseller on Amazon the week after it came out. And this is essentially the basic book needed to really start your art career and see if you can amplify your business. So we have a digital copy going to Claire Bureau in Quebec, and a hard copy going to Christopher Book. Ironic, isn't it? Book getting a book in Pingree, Illinois. So congratulations to both of you. Today at 3 p.m., we have a video from Len Gertenbach. It's a classic from Lilidol. It was produced a while back, and Lynn is still very viable and very great artist, but this was one of her early videos. It's called Illumination. And just so you can get a feel for illumination, here is a look at the video. Beautiful clouds, beautiful distant landscape. And so there's a lot of lessons in that. I can just see several just by looking at it to see some of her technique. And so that'll be nice today. That's at 3 o'clock. And we do those every day on Streamline Art at Streamline Art Video on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you go to either of those and you hit subscribe or follow, they will pop up for you. And of course, we have all these daily broadcasts that we've been doing, 123 in a row. All the video samples are there on YouTube. And if you subscribe, then you'll get the new ones automatically as well. So make sure you check it out today at 3 p.m. if you're available. Happy Monday to everybody. It's nice to have a new start to the week. I always look forward to Mondays. I love my weekends. This weekend, I built Friday. I took the day off after this broadcast, and my son and I, Brady, built a swim raft. And then I launched it. We launched it in the water, had to let the glue dry, and then I went and mounted some lights on it last night before it got dark so boats don't hit it, and launched it out in front of the house. And now we have a swim dock so we can swim to it and play around. That'll be kind of fun. And have some family members in town, which is also nice to be able to sit and chat with family members. And we've both been in quarantine, so we're being careful, but we're keeping our distance. All right. So what else do I have for you today? Oh, I have some prizes. Today we have prizes. We have an easel brush clip. This is from easelbrushclip.com. You can see it. You can actually see it right there on the device. Let's see if I can do it. Easelbrushclip.com. And it essentially clips on. You can clip, you put your brushes in it, and then it clips on to your easel, and your brushes are right there, so you can just get them. The clip is so strong, it's hurting my hand. The clip is also great for steadying your painting umbrella if you're outdoors. I have one of these on my my outdoor easel, and I have one in every bag. So I've got a bag for my car, I've got a bag for around the house, I've got another set for my car and for around the house back in Austin, because I don't want to carry the same stuff all the way. And then I have two of them on each studio easel. I don't have one actually on the studio easel back there yet because I gotta order some. All right. So anyway, that's what we're giving away. And then value specs, I don't have a pair of those to show you, but those are red glasses that are a specially formulated red lens that help you see values. I teach values. Values are the darks to lights, and a very important principle in painting. And I teach values to people because I think it's so critically important. And so I have free lessons online, free. There are 8 free video lessons if you go to paintbynote.com. And then, of course, there's also a video you can buy there, but you want to start with the free lessons. They're inside the guidebook. So download the guidebook, look at the free lessons. There's all kinds of tips and tools in there, and that'll be helpful. And my goal is to teach people to paint who don't think they have any talent, don't have any drawing skill, don't know essentially what they're doing. And that's fine. So because I think everybody can paint, because I think it's a learned skill. So today what I want to do is talk about how to get into selling your art. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to open this up, and we'll see if we can find the presentation here. So hang on just one second and we'll get it going here. So the question I oftentimes get is, where do I begin to sell my art? How do I start? And as I talk to people, I find out that selling art means different things to different people. So some people, selling art might be generate an extra $50 a week or a month. Some people, it might be generate an extra $1,000 a month. Some people might be a career. We're going to talk about those kinds of things. But where do you begin? You know, is there a process that you follow? I tend to think there is. I like processes. I think the first thing you've got to ask yourself is, am I ready? Are there indicators that my work is ready to be sold? Here are some of the indicators that I never used to hear. And when I started hearing them, I thought, well, maybe I should start selling my art. The indicators were, who painted that? That's really wonderful. Would you be willing to sell that? Or where can I buy your work? You know, those are indicators. And if you're starting to hear those kinds of things from your friends, you know, everybody's going to give you compliments. Everybody's going to, because everybody wants to be nice, right? So like my mother would always say, she loved my paintings, even though I didn't always love them. The idea is you always want to be listening to what people are saying. And if they're saying things like pretty colors or nice composition or interesting brushwork, those are kind of not necessarily great compliments. But if they're actually going out of their way to say, you know, this is really a good, I mean, really good, those are the kind of indicators. So you want to look for those kind of indicators. The next thing, depending on the level that you want to go, if you're talking about just selling a little bit, make an extra couple $100 here and there, then you don't necessarily need to go to this step. And we'll talk a little more about that too. But what do the pros think? What would a professional say about you? I remember a very good friend who came to me and said, I want to start selling my art, but I'm not sure if I'm ready. And so I explained to her what the process would be. You know, go get 2 or 3 people who are professionals and ask them if you can buy a little bit of their time, for them to give you some honest critiques, to tell you whether or not you're ready. And these would have to be people who are ready, people we know are successful, people we know are making a living, because they might say, yeah, you're close, but you need to really work on this, or you're not quite ready yet, give it another year. Or sometimes they might say, look, you really have a lot of improvement to do. I think you're going to have a hard time selling your paintings. I want to know. I don't want somebody telling me nice things. It's nice to hear, but I want to know the truth. So find out if you can get an objective opinion. The next question you have to ask yourself is, why do I want to sell my art? Now, I have mentioned here a couple times during coronavirus that I did some coaching at my fall color week. I stood up in front of the group. There's about 100 of us. And I said, listen, it's snowing. We're not going out as much as we normally would. We're painting indoors. So if anybody during the evening or whatever wants a little coaching, I'd be happy to do some career coaching. And 2 or 3 people took me up on it the first day. And 2 of them had kind of the same issues. They're like, well, I think I should be selling my art. And I said, well, do you really, why do you want to sell your art? And they said, well, I never really thought about it. And I said, well, think about it. What is it? Do you want recognition? Are you looking to have people buy it so you know that it's good? Because if they buy it, it validates you. Is it you want to sell it because you need the money? You need a lot of money. You need a little money. And in both cases, they both said, I just thought I was supposed to go to this as my next step. I don't really want to sell my art after they went through that counseling. So you want to ask yourself, why? Why do I want to sell it? And if it's about recognition or validation, can you find other ways to get recognition and validation without selling it? Because, selling art is a commitment. And so it might be validation or recognition might be through charities or selling, giving your work to charities and having, donated work. I have a friend, Barbara, likes to give her paintings away. And because she knows people like them, she's generous. She doesn't really care if she keeps them or not. She's out there enjoying the process. So ask yourself, why do I want to sell my art? The other thing you've got to ask yourself is, how serious am I ready to be? You see, if you are about to go through what I'm going to teach you, you've got to be pretty serious, because professionals are serious about what they do. Professionals approach things professionally, and professionals have a process that they follow. So you got to ask yourself, am I a hobby business? Am I a part-time job? Am I a full-time job? What level of commitment am I willing to take? Because it is going to be disruptive. A lot of people say, I'd rather be painting. I don't want to be marketing. I don't want to be selling. I don't want to be dealing with shipping. I don't want to be dealing with galleries. I don't want to be dealing with shows. Other people thrive on it. So you have to decide, what is it for me? And then the next question is, how much do I want or need? Do I need an occasional sale? Do I need a specific amount per month? Do I need a specific amount per year? Or do I just need a little bit of spending money? So when you're asking yourself the questions about, do you want to do this, find out what you really think you need, because your needs will kind of determine the level of drive that you take. The other thing I think is really critical is, am I willing to change the nature of my painting joy by making it a business? Some people have said to me, when I started painting and selling, it robbed me of the joy. I used to have no pressure. Now when I paint, I think about, is it going to sell? Is anybody going to like it? What if I don't sell it? I need the money. It changes things. Somebody said to me recently, I'm not sure I want to do shows anymore, because I was so stressed out for 6 months trying to get the deadlines for that show. It was not enjoyable for me at all. Some people have said they've been to shows and that, they don't like the environment because, they're on showcase, there's a lot of pressure. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to change the nature of my painting? You also have to ask yourself, is it going to change the way I paint? Am I going to paint for the audience instead of painting for myself? And you have to ask yourself those serious questions, because they're important. So I always start with saying, set goals. And a lot of people do goals wrong, but goals need to be specific, measurable, and they need to have deadlines on them. So specific means I'm going to sell 10 paintings. Measurable or specific is I'm going to sell I'm going to sell paintings, 10 paintings, measurable is 10 paintings. By January 1st is the deadline, right? So you want to be very specific about your goals. I'm going to sell 10-figure paintings by January, that kind of a thing. So here's an example. I want to sell one painting a month starting in December for $500 each, right? So that's a goal example. Now you have to be realistic about goals because there's marketing involved. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to, all of a sudden they're going to sell. No, you have to have, there's a lot of work to be done between now and December, and whether or not there's even time, you have to determine that. So, and part of that is getting your training, learning more about marketing. But so be as specific as you possibly can be. The more specific you are, the more success. The second thing, another example would be, I want to sell 20 paintings a year, and I want to make $50,000 a year starting in January. All right, that's doable. Or it might be doable, it might not be doable, but it depends on if you're going from zero or if you're already starting or already got an income. You've got to, what you got to do is start measuring the gaps. How far away am I? What's it going to take to get this? We'll get into that. Now you break goals into small weekly tasks. Now the way I do it is I start by taking all my goals and I put them in a quarterly goal. I call them my big rocks. I have 1 or 2, maybe 3 big rocks. These are the goals I want for this quarter or for the year. And then I take those goals and I break them into monthly and weekly processes. What are the steps I have to do in order to get this done by this quarter? I got to get 2 paintings a month. I must do these 5 things every single week. I got to make these phone calls. I got to do this advertising. I got to paint this many paintings, etc. Now, you also want to create a strategy, and people confuse strategy and tactics. A strategy is essentially what your plan is. A tactic is how you accomplish your plan. So a strategy would be, I'm going to sell to affluent professionals in the wealthy neighborhoods of Dallas. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to sell 20 paintings, that's not a strategy. Who are you going to sell it to? And the more you can define that, the more you can understand it. So, all right, so if you said, my goal, my strategy is I'm going to sell affluent professionals in the wealthy neighborhoods of Dallas. Now, all of a sudden, you've narrowed it. Now that narrowing helps you because all of a sudden you're saying, well, I don't need to advertise nationally. I need to advertise locally, but I don't need to advertise locally everywhere. I need to find out what are the magazines that the rich people read that go into these neighborhoods, or what are the zip codes that I need to focus on? How can I get lists of these people? Where can I find these people congregating? How can I become a part of their conversation? So by having a narrow strategy, it really helps you a lot. The next thing is you want to design the tactics that go with the strategy. The tactics are, how you're going to accomplish that goal. So I'm going to accomplish that goal by selling through country clubs in Dallas. And at the country clubs, I'm going to do art classes so I can get to know people. And when I'm doing art classes and demos, I'm going to bring paintings as examples, and also they would be for sale. And I'm going to do art shows, and I'm going to do them at the country clubs, and I'm going to do mailings to members and mailings to the affluent neighborhoods. Those are specific tactics. You got to have specifics. All right. Now you got to create a timeline. You start with the end and then you back it up. Okay. So in 10 weeks, I have to accomplish this, break it into 10 weeks. Now, how do I break them into, certain things? Well, I got to have my website up. I got to have 30 paintings done. I got to have, 10 mailings done. I have to do all these various things. I glanced over because there's a boat coming in to the neighbors. Okay. You also want to know your metrics, know your numbers. I'm not a numbers guy. I had to learn to become a numbers guy. I'm always talking about you have to develop muscles in areas where you have weaknesses. And I had to develop numbers muscles. I actually still am doing that. I'm a member of a group that the man who leads the group teaches this stuff all the time. And I went to a 4-day class with him for a very large amount of money and I sent some of my folks to it as well because it was necessary for me to develop those muscles. And I still don't have the best muscles. Now I have people who work with me who have those muscles who compensate for my weaknesses. And that's a good alternative. But you want to know what's called your sell-through. Now, what sell-through means is how many paintings, let's say my goal is I want to sell one painting a month. How many paintings do I have to paint to sell one painting a month? How many paintings do I have to display? How many paintings do I have to send to a gallery? You know, so sell-through might be in a traditional sales environment. Sell-through would mean this: I have to talk to 20 people before I get one sale. And we do this with our ad salespeople. It's like, what's your sell-through? What's your average rate of closing? So how many people do you have? Some people can talk to 5 people and close 3 of them. Some people can talk to 50 people and close 1 of them. And so and of course, developing your muscles in sales will help you. But, you know, what is your sell through? How many paintings do I have to create to sell? How many do I have to ship to sell? How many do I need to produce every month? How much advertising do I need to buy in order to accomplish my goals? That kind of a thing. So you need to understand your numbers. Most of us as artists are not necessarily numbers people. So we became artists because we don't like numbers, but learning them and knowing your data and your metrics will help you a lot. I don't suggest you wing it. I suggest you develop a goal and a plan, and that will increase your odds of success. So that's all I've got today on how to basically learn to do it. I would also recommend that you try some experimentation. You know, if you're not super serious and you just want to kind of explore it, you want to get used to it, you want to see what happens before you go to all this trouble, you know, maybe it's just a matter of setting up a local art show in a restaurant or something like that to see how it goes. And please remember, go back to the videos. They're all on YouTube. There was one I talked about specific how to increase your sales at art shows, and I talk about very specific things that will help you. So a reminder that today we have Lynn Gertenbach, who's going to be on at 3 p.m. doing a video on illumination, beautiful clouds painting. We also are giving away tomorrow a brush clip and a value specs for your comments. We've got a bunch of comments already. I see a lot of you in here, so thank you for saying it. It's nice if you say where you're from. Here's Angela from Prince Edward Island in Canada. Angela, we were talking about Prince Edward Island. We were sitting on the dock yesterday, so we're curious about it. Very nice. I'm talking to you guys, checking in with you here in the comments. And so nice to see you guys checking in every day. A lot of regulars, and it's really nice of you to do that and to be here. I'm just trying to figure out how much longer I'm going to do this, because it's a joy to do it, but it's a tremendous amount of time commitment. So, brush clips, Charlotte says. All right. So you guys have a terrific day, and I will be chatting with you tomorrow. And remember to leave comments. Bye.